say thank you so much for coming down to Haiti. Many times people come in right now and don't get a chance to kind of know how it started and what God's really done here. So I just want to take a minute and tell you that. In 1997, actually in 1975 was my first trip to Haiti with my parents. And I was 5 years old at the time, and I came every year from 75 on just to visit. But in 1997, my wife Vanessa and I came here on a mission trip like you guys were with. And at that time, my mom and dad had purchased 20 acres of ground at the front by the road, and there was one building on it. And we were in this building, and a family came to us and asked us to come to Susmatla, which that is Susmatla, the first village down here. We went to Susmatla, and there was this baby laying in a hut in the bed, and she was burning up with a fever. So much so that around her was just this ring of sweat and water. So as we prayed for this baby, we decided we had to rush her to the clinic. Not our clinic, because we didn't have one, to a clinic 30 miles north. So we got in the car. It was a pickup truck with a driver, my wife, Vanessa, and then the father holding his baby, and I was in the back. We rushed 30 miles north, and we got to this clinic, and as we were walking up to the clinic, the clinic doors were locked. And the baby took his last breath and died in its father's arms. So now we had a 30-mile drive back to the mission, actually to Susmatla, to this house, with the father holding his dead baby that had just died. Her name was Gerline. She was 18 months old. We got back to the village. The mother came out, and she just passed out, started grieving. And Vanessa and I slowly slipped away to come back to the mission and getting ready to go back to Indiana where we were living at the time. We'd been married a year. And so we started asking ourselves, why in the world did this happen? What happened to this baby? And found out that mom and dad sold everything they had to a voodoo priest, and the baby starved to death. So as we flew back to Fort Wayne, Vanessa looked at me and said, I really think we need to move to Haiti. And I thought, I've been coming to Haiti since 5. I'd been through 3 coups at that point. So I knew a lot about Haiti. I loved Haiti, but I wasn't real sure I wanted to move. And also, I'd just been out of university. I had my first car, which was an Eddie Bauer Explorer. I had a really nice condo. We had a nice condo. So I was counting the cost, but after about 2 weeks, I couldn't sleep. It was more than a burden. It was definitely a call. And I think the difference between a burden and a call, burdens pass, calls don't. And we knew that we had to come down here. So in 1998, we packed up everything we had, sold the truck, the Eddie Bauer Explorer, got rid of our condo, and we made the trek down to Haiti. At that point, we had 2 dogs, a Rottweiler and a Beagle, and 4 suitcases. And we didn't have a car, we didn't have a house here. We just came with a vision, and the vision was very simple: to see Haiti change for Jesus Christ. That was why we came. We didn't know how that was going to happen. When we got here, the United States military came in and built us our first school. And they said it was an 8-room schoolhouse, the yellow one, the one they just put a covering on the back of. And they said, hey, if you make this a school, we'll come back the next year and we'll build you more schools. So Vanessa's degree is in education, and she started that first year. We had 230 kids come to school from this area. Most of them had never been to school before. We started with Haitian teachers, and Vanessa kind of took over the directorship of it. And we had kids that were actually passing out in the classrooms because they were so malnourished. And so we bought a peanut grinder, and I could show you the tree that it's on down there. It's between the schools, but we nailed this peanut grinder to the tree. Hired a lady that still works in our kitchen, and she ground peanuts all day long and made a peanut paste. And we'd put it on the bread, and then the kids would eat, and we started to see them grow. The next year, we started a whole nutrition program where we're feeding all of our kids. We had 360 kids that year. Today, unfortunately, you don't get to see it because school's been out since the quake. It opened on April 5th. But we have over 1,200 kids that come to our school daily. One of our main objectives here is to give our kids and the kids of Haiti a great Christ-centered education. We believe 2 things can change Haiti. One is education, and the second is a relationship with Jesus Christ. When you put the 2 together through education, we believe that we can have people that have influence because they have an education that can help us see Haiti change for the Lord. So we have education. We have Nicole's here with us. She's one of our students. Also at the Hope House too. And some of you have talked to her because she's been translating. She's awesome. But Nicole, not Nicole, the students, we've had 4 graduating classes. We have kids that are studying to be pediatricians. In our kitchen right here, we have a mother that has 2 of her kids, actually 3 of her kids that have graduated from our school. One is going to be an accountant this year. He graduates, and his aspirations are to be the president of Haiti. And her daughter is in the Dominican Republic studying to be a pediatrician. And she's working in our kitchen, and she can't read or write. So you see the generational change that happens through education. Then after we've been here 3 months, you got a tissue, Vanessa? Okay. She always cries when I tell this story. I went to an orphanage down the road. Some of you have probably been there. Good Samaritan Orphanage. You went yesterday. Good. I walked into this orphanage and it looked a lot like this, just a tin roof with a cement floor and 60 kids sitting across it. And these kids were very, very skinny. The 2 twins that you see running around here, they both came from that same orphanage. But when I walked in, we'd been here 3 months, and this little boy out of 60 kids was sitting in the corner. He had a bloated belly, which was worms. His shirt actually sat on top of his belly. His hair was orange. And I walked by him, and I looked at him, and he put his arms up to me and for me to pick him up. So I thought, man, you know, of all 60 kids, this is the one that didn't have any pants on. I had to really pray that one through. But I picked him up. And when I picked him up, he grabbed my neck so tight, wouldn't let go. And for about 2 hours, I walked around thinking, God, what do I do with 60 kids that are really bad? And so the Lord really began to lay on my heart, this was our son. And Vanessa and I had been here 3 months. We didn't have enough money to pay our rent that was pledged to us to come in. And here God says, hey, this is your son. So I put him down. I said, okay, I'm leaving. And I came back to the mission and I told Vanessa, I said, Vanessa, tomorrow you're going to this orphanage with nurses to check out all the kids. I said, whatever you do, don't pick up one little boy named Junior. So she said, okay, no problem. I was like, whew, off the hook. And so she went the next day. This is her part of the story, because I wasn't there. Sits down in the middle of all these 60 kids, and this little boy comes over, puts his hand on her leg. And he, hold on a second. Puts his hand on her leg, and she puts her hand on top of his, and she finds out that he's burning up with a fever. So she takes him over, he's 13 months old, takes him over to this nurse. And the nurse says, Vanessa, if you don't do something, this little boy's going to die. So she swoops him up, and I'm working on the church. We were building it at the time. And she comes walking through our gate holding this 13-month-old baby boy that the day before God had just impressed on me. It was supposed to be our first son. So I went up to her and I said, Vanessa, what are you doing? And she said, we're going to keep him for 2 weeks and then we'll take him back. And I say this a lot, but when I wouldn't buy that now. We've got a lot of years under our belt, married, but that was year 2. So she could trick me with that. But we brought him home, and Junior would lay on the bed for the first 2 weeks and have zero emotion. But after those 2 weeks, he just became this little bundle of joy and energy and running around. And God really laid on both of our hearts that there were kids all over Haiti. That actually there's over 400,000 children that don't have moms and dads. That somewhere are sitting with nobody to take care of them. And the thing about what the Bible says is we have to take care of orphans. So we started a place called the Hope House Orphanage, and you guys are going there tonight. Most of you have been there. It was a place to give hope to children, and more than hope, to give them a home that they feel loved, to give them an education so they can grow up and have everything that I want for my children. So JD, after we found out that he was doing well, he became our first and oldest son. You've seen him running around here, I think. If not, you'll see him. He just went down to the warehouse.